Hello, everybody. We are about to get back into our reading. We are on chapter 2, E Block. Let's see what that is all about. All right. I'll just play a little bit of music and then we'll get started with the reading. I hope y'all are having a good day. It's really hot, I gotta say. Oh, hey, D Miss O. What's up, boo? Oh, you were coming live. Oh, okay, boo. Yeah, this reading shouldn't take too long. Oh, Kareem, we are back reading, baby. Yeah, so y'all, I did promise that I was going to get through this book. Okay, we're going to get through this book. We are. Y'all, I just had these Skittle what do you call those? Those freeze candies. Y'all, they are so good. I'm going to tell you don't get them. Okay, cuz y'all know people trying to be cavity free around here. Them things are too good to be true. Yes. What's up under new management? How you doing? You said, is it a book about being in a institute? Absolutely, boo. Yes. With all this carrying on that people are doing, people setting up fights, people are in abusive relationships or, just out of them. They need to hear this because they don't want to go to this dark place. No, they don't. Oh, you said Chloe wants some? Oh, boo, I know that's right, Demon. So they are good too, boo. You got to be careful with them. Put them in a Ziploc bag and say, this is all you can have. Because they are worth the amount. It's like $5. I'm sorry, y'all, if I keep going in and out with my voice. It's been hot today and I just got off work. So my energy, I should have got a bang. Yeah, I should have got a bang or a Red Bull today. Because I already had coffee. I don't need no more coffee. But I do have some water. Yeah, I do got water. Oh, Kareem, you say yes. I listened to you the other night. I thought it was a dream. Oh, I know that's right, boo. Yeah, I'm so happy that I am. Because this is my favorite book. Really, y'all. This is my favorite one. Memoir, Delaware County Prison. It just has so much information in it. Yeah, it's very helpful. I'll say, I'm not saying, that I'll ever be going to jail. Hopefully I won't, ever go to jail. But sometimes you don't know where life is going to take you, especially when you are on that route of really not knowing your direction. And all bets can be off sometimes, and you may just let loose, and something like this may happen. Locked up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kareem, you like prison stories? Yeah. I think it's an escape as well. Because prison stories just tell they're so different. I think everybody's prison story is different that actually lived through it. Hypnotic touch. Hey, boo. I hope you're having a beautiful day as well. Thank you. Yeah, y'all. So, let me see. I was gonna talk about something, but I think I'm gonna just leave that alone. Yeah. So, y'all, let's get into this e-block. E-block. So that's what we stopped at on this book. The main character this is a true story too. So it's a true story. But the main character in the book, he basically just got put in the prison. He was in the intake. That was the name of the first chapter. And he really doesn't want to be there. Like, you could tell that he wished that it was a huge mistake. He did commit a crime though, so he is paying the time. The crime that he committed was a credit card scam, something like that, or fraud. Maybe they'll get more deep into what his charges actually were, but he's supposed to be serving 8 months in a prison county in Delaware. And he's already stated that it has some terrible conditions. So yeah, he doesn't want to be there. There's my baby. What's going on, Fato? Hey, boo. Dear, I'm so happy that you could be here for our second chapter. Oh, boo, you said I've never been to jail and I'm not trying to go. Absolutely, boo. Yeah, I do have way more self-discipline than I did, in the past. And I plan on keeping it. Self-love yourself. What's up, boo? Yes, our book club is at a rise. Thank you, TMO, baby. All right, so y'all, let's get started. E-block. When they called my name to move me to E-block, I was lounging on the top bunk, feeling quite a bit better. You're going to E-block, the CEO said. I quickly gathered up my sheets as he opened the gate. I walked by him slowly and then walked down the steps. But I had to wait in a line because I wasn't the only one being processed to a block. As I made my way towards E Block, I realized I was starting to smell exactly like the jail. Processing including processing included posing for a mud shot and receiving an inmate number on your armband. Number 981571. That was me from that day forth. As I waited to be moved to E-14, I looked over at the day room where we were standing in line. There were 3 stone tables, similar to what you may see in a park, and 7 telephones, collect calls only. As I glanced down the line, I saw the first guy that I thought was kind of cute. His name was Ronald. Ron for short. He was actually more than cute. He was downright handsome. He stood there in a white t-shirt, a pair of blue gym shorts he brought from the commissary, bright ankle socks, and a pair of slippers. He was a nice chocolately toned, curly hair, broad shoulders, and most impressive, his nice, juicy, pussy sucking lips. Oh, he is nasty. He turned and looked at me, then looked down at my wristwatch. How much you selling that for? Oh, I'm sorry. How much you selling that watch for? He asked. It's not for sale, I responded. Well, how much did it cost? He asked. I just looked at him, wondering why he cared. Oh, sorry, y'all. Sorry, you know what, y'all? I lost my placement. Okay, I stopped. Well, how much? Well, how much did it cost? He asked. I just looked up at him, wondering why he cared, but I didn't speak. Then he started to tell me how much he was going to give me for it. He said he would make sure that no one messed with me. I would be safe. I considered what he said, but I couldn't sell my watch. What would I use? I was just standing there thinking about all the shit Ron was kicking out when another guy walked between us. He was carrying a bin full of clothes and water. He had on the same thing as Ron, except he wasn't wearing any socks. He also had a tattoo on his left shoulder that read T, that stood for Teddy. But to me, he wasn't all that cute. Turns out, Teddy and Ron were in the same cell together, cell 1. They were the only two out during lockdown because they were the runners on the block, and they did the cleaning on that block. Also in cell 1 was Bone, a player type cutie with green eyes and a smooth, well-muscled body. He and Teddy were cousins. As I stood there talking to Ron and Teddy, I thought that with these two guys in here, this might not be so bad. Plus, with these guys being the sanitation runners of the block, I knew they would have a lot of pull. It was so nosy in there. No, I'm sorry. It was so noisy in there. All I could hear were the people on the block locked down in their cells, yelling and screaming like a bunch of madmen in a zoo. I felt very out of place. What cell are you in? Ron asked. 14, I told him. Then he informed me that I was being placed in a cell with a bunch of punk white boys and that they were corny as hell. By the time the CO had brought me an empty gray box to store my clothes and other materials, I packed it up and headed to 14 cell. Inmates were hollering and spitting through the bars. I was scared, but not so scared that I couldn't keep walking. 14 cell was up a flight of stairs, and it smelled like shit. When the gate opened to let me in, I walked in on someone using the toilet. Staring me in my face were two white guys. They didn't say a word. They just kept staring, almost like I wasn't human. I heard groaning from the toilet area and was startled when a head popped up over the sheets. Oh my God. He was startled. Oh. He was too startled at me with a. Oh no. What did he say? He too stared at me with a crazed look in his eyes, then flushed the toilet, took the sheet down, and came over to me without even washing his hands. Boy, I'm in here for murder, so you don't want to fuck with me. I just looked at him as though he was crazy, because he was. I glanced around at the other white boys' faces. They just stood there, not smiling, not talking. I kept wondering if he was telling the truth about being in there for murder. I dropped my box that contained my sheets and ran back downstairs to where Ron was. A lot of people just kept looking at me. I guess they were aware that I was fresh meat on the block. E Block was a block where younger people were placed. People my age, from 18 to 25. But I could see, but I could still but I could still see a few old heads on the block. Miss Darlings, hey boo. Voodoo, this book is something serious now. Oh, Miss Darlings, you done walked in on it. Yes. You done walked into some mess, baby. You said, sounds like you're reading from Brian's journal. Oh, Miss Darlings, if only you knew, baby. Now. Okay. I told Ron that I did not want to stay in 14 cell. In fact, I really wanted to stay in the cell with him because his cell had a TV. Not to mention, it seemed like a safer place to be. He looked at me with his big lips and said he was going to get me out of there. I wanted to say, that's my baby, but I didn't. He walked over to the guard's cage and told him he don't like white people and he don't want to stay in 14 cell. Both the guard and I knew that Ron was lying, but it worked. Before I knew it, I had been given orders to move to 9 cell. I kept staring at Ron, unable to keep my eyes off of him. Go get your stuff and take it to cell 9, he said with his enormous lips. Joe, the toilet guy in 14 cell, looked at me as I gripped up my box. He explained, I'm not really in here for murder. I was just fucking with you. I didn't care. I still wanted out of there. I headed downstairs to cell 9. Soon as I walked through the door, this guy was smiling at me. He was grinning from ear to ear. He had a familiar face. I thought to myself as I shook my hand. I thought to myself as he shook my hand. He acted like he didn't want to let my hand go. The cell was something like intake, but it was much cleaner. No TV though. There was a single bed in the middle instead of a bunk with 2 sets of metal bunk beds against the wall. The guy was sorry about that, y'all. The guy was still standing in front of me smiling. He was wearing a pair of green boxers, no shirt, a long ass pair of socks rolled up like all the way up to his knees, and his slippers, which were known in jail as shower shoes. He looked to be in his early 30s and had a low haircut with waves. He told me I looked familiar and asked if I was from West Philly. Yes, I replied. Well, that's where I seen you from, he said. Well, maybe, I replied. He told me his name was Nard. Y'all see this? He is getting his way. Oh, look at Simon in here. Simon, I don't know if you've ever been in jail. This is a prison story. I don't want to make you scared. Don't pee your pants, Simon. Yeah, Voodoo. Now, this story right here, Voodoo, got a lot of trade, Voodoo. It's quite a bit of trade. Yeah, you may want to stick around for this one. All right, y'all. So, well, the name Nard does not ring a bell, I said. Then I glanced over on the bottom bunk and saw my other cellmate, Montez, who was my age. His hair was nappy and he had a big nose. He reminded me of that old cartoon character, Mr. Bogus. I'm gonna have to look him up, y'all. I said hello, then glanced at the bunk where I was going to be sleeping. I took the sheets out of my box to make up the bunk, which was on top of Nerds. What's it, Nerd? Nards. His name is Nards, which was on top of Nards. Ron came past the cell and asked if I was okay. I told him I was cool. Ron lied and told Nard and Montez that I was his cousin. He told them no one better fuck with me. After I finished the bed, I went to the doorway of the cell and looked around. I saw all sorts of people, even folks I used to go to school with. I headed out on the block towards the day room where the TV was. I sat on top of one of the stone tables to watch the Moesha show. When I realized a lot of people were staring at me, it made me uncomfortable. So I headed upstairs just to explore the place. When I walked by the 11th cell, I heard someone call me. Yo, come here. I walked over and saw a dark-skinned boy with a bald head, maybe 18 years old. His name was Icon, not his real name, just the name he used. How much was your watch? He asked. I told him I didn't know. It was a gift. Then he stared. Then he started telling me that he raps in New York somewhere. He had a nice muscular build with with deep dark brown eyes. Cute in a Michael Jordan sort of way. He passed me a commissary sheet and told me to pick out two of anything I wanted in exchange for my watch. I told him I would be right back. I went downstairs to where Ron was and sat down. He was playing cards in the day room with a cigarette hanging from his mouth. Some guy wants to buy my watch, I whispered in his ear. Get 10 bags of chips and 2 packs of cigarettes, he replied. I didn't think that was a very high price, but Icon did. Although I came in with only 64 cents in my pocket, I wasn't about to sell my watch. It was nice. That's why I stole it. Oh, he done stole this watch. I thought this was the watch that his mother or somebody gave him. Anyway, I was not pressed for money, but I was starving. For the time being, I kept it. I don't remember being this hungry ever before. I headed back to the day room to zone out on some TV, but realized that everyone was either staring at my watch or my boots. I was scared as shit. I wasn't entirely sure that if I were to get into something, Ron would have my back. I hoped Ron would cover for me. As I headed back to my cell, I walked past a lot of people playing chess, cards, and just standing around smoking. Montez and Nard were in the cell were in the cell when I got there. Then a tall, dark, crazy man entered. He was skinny and looked like he was about 50 years old. Larry was his name, but everyone called him Old Head. I was surprised to know that I had to sleep in the same cell as him. In fact, mad. Yeah, Beto, ain't this something now? You said you said Nard protected him already. I bet you was with a price. Oh yeah, I bet you was. It's with a price. Yeah, you see, boo. He is really getting around. That's why I told y'all he's quite smart. Yeah, yes, Voodoo, the trade. You see all this trade in this book, Voodoo. This is like picking from a candy store, right? All right. I looked at Nard. Is he in this cell too? Nard nodded yes. Of course, I knew this was just something I'd have to live with. I tried to calm down, but I didn't know what this person was capable of. He walked around like he had a crook in his neck, almost like his neck was broken. As time went, so as time went on, I got used to him, and vice versa. He even taught me how to hold my hands in case I ever got into a fight. He would get what is it? He would get aggravated when he didn't take his medication. It was nice holding conversations with Montez, but at times he would act so dumb. All Nard talked about was how he used to be a credit card pickpocket. No, you know y'all done messed that up. I'm sorry. How he used to be a credit card pickpocket. That's it. That's all he would talk about, day in and day out. My first day there, I saw my, my first day there, I sat at the guard's cage until it was time for lockdown. It was 11 o'clock at night, and once we heard that long whistle from the CO, it was time to head to our cells. My first night on E Block, I slept good. I was snuggled up under my nice warm country blanket, but the heat was right over the top of my head. I slept with my clothes and boots on. I still hadn't taken a shower or brushed my teeth in 5 days. What was I to do? I was not getting in that nasty shower. It's not fun. I would be helpless in there, but I had no intention of getting fucked up. But I had no intention of getting fucked in the shower. Oh, that's sad, y'all. I laid on the top bunk and dreamed about someone that I had a crush on for a long time. I'm sure I was smiling as I dreamed, wishing that person would come rescue me from this hellhole. It seemed like the middle of the night when I heard the 6 o'clock a.m. whistle blow. Y'all hear him. Y'all see he going in and out of a mood. This is too much. But I bet you it is like that. Hey, Rodney. Rodney, it's good to see you. Hey, buddy. Oh my goodness. Look at Miss Darling, a bunch of credit card pickpockets in the beef sector. Y'all better use that drag. You credit card pickpocket. Polly want a pocket. Y'all, this is something. Yes, isn't it? Corrine, hey boo, it's good to see you, baby. I mean, my Catherine. Catherine, hey boo, Catherine. Yeah, y'all, this book is something else, but this sad though. Like I know he's going in and out of moods because I think that's all that can really happen. He's in this place. So let's see where this goes. I'm sure I was smiling as I dreamed, wishing that person would come rescue me from this hellhole. It seemed like the middle of the night when I heard the 6 a.m. whistle blow. Bottom tier, chop up, called the CO. That was us. I heard the loud roar of the bottom tier's gate opening. I jumped down from the bunk and grabbed my plastic cup and spoon. I proceeded out the door with Nard following right behind. We all walked to the cafeteria, which seated about 100 people. The line was very long, and I was at the end. That particular morning, they were serving shit on a shingle. Oh my! The nickname for turkey sausage and cream gravy. I didn't eat any of it. I gave it to Montez, then went back to the block. No shower for the last few days was beginning to wear on me. The stubble on my face was itching like crazy. I was missing home a lot, but I was determined not to cry about it. I'd about reached my limit with Nard, always talking about how much money he used to take from rich white folks, how he and his wife were living it good off him being a pickpocket. The same shit every day. It was getting boring. I spoke with my mother and the rest of my family. Everyone seemed very disappointed in my situation, but I imagine they all expected this much from me. I asked my mom to send me a television, but that was kind of hard since she was in the process of moving. I was bored. My only reading material was Waiting to Exhale. Not that interesting since I already seen the movie several times. I got used to going to the bathroom in front of Nard. Even though there were times he would try to look over the sheet when I was taking a dunk. Really? My first weekend, I finally took a shower after I sold Icon my watch for 2 pairs of socks and a pair of gym shorts, 2 t-shirts, and a pair of boxer shorts. I needed them clothes bad because I did not want to put my old clothes back on. I asked Montez and his friend Nate to stand outside of the shower because I didn't want anyone attacking me. Oh, I know that's right, y'all. You see how he got these people got his back like this? I told y'all he's a smart one. I know, yeah, Fato. I feel for him now that he was able to take a shower. But dang, he had to sell that watch that he stole. Y'all, I thought that watch was of some material value, non-material value. I just knew it was. Okay. I was growing accustomed to being in the cell with Nard, Montez, and Old Head. I just didn't like Nard tapping on me. Oh, hold on. I just didn't like Nard tapping me on my ass all the time. Girl, Nard sound like he down low. See, look, he said all the time he's tapping on his ears. Hey, sassy. Okay. At one point, the CO saw him and told him to stop. Y'all, what? Montez's friend Nate was cool. He called himself a player. He loved girls. He was fine, too fine for me to even have a crush on him. He'd come by the cell every now and then to see Montez. He was cool with me. I spoke to my mother throughout that first week. I wanted her to come visit me on Wednesday, but she said she'd come Saturday, although she didn't make it until Sunday. Ron and Teddy almost seemed like my personal bodyguards. They loved me and I loved them. Teddy's cousin, Bone, seemed fond of me also. They knew I was a con artist and liked messing up. Oh, hold on, y'all. They knew I was a con artist and liked messing me up in my game. They felt like big brothers to me. Bone and I would have nice conversations about different things, such as each other's home life and what it was like when I realized I was gay. In fact, my being gay seemed like the number one question floating throughout everyone's mind. Weeks went by, and old head had to move out of the cell and onto another block because he was getting too crazy to stay in there with me. He's he started doing things like walking around the cell naked and then would come up behind me and rub his dick against my ass. What? Girl, hold on, all these down on men. Y'all, this not done rubbed okay. I took his bed in the middle between Nard and Montez. The new person that came in to replace old head was quite a character. He was fat, tall, and brown skinned with lots of hair on his head. He looked oh, he kind of looked like Harry from the television show Harry and the Hendersons. I was just glad that we got rid of old head. He had gotten out of hand with his threats to kill me. What? Not threats to kill me. Oh, look at Miss Darlings. If you baby, not limited Eli. Y'all, so this man done threatened to kill him. Well, he said he was crazy, so but that's that's too much. I sold my boots to someone in the cell across from ours. I was really hungry and needed something to eat bad. They went for 10 bags of chips, 4 Snicker bars, 10 packs of oodles of noodles, and 2 packs of Kool-Aid. I didn't need the boots anyway. It wasn't like I was going anywhere. It wasn't like I had anywhere to go. I just walked around the jail in shower shoes. Vince was the name of our new cellmate. Besides sleeping a lot, he was crazy as hell. So you just got rid of one crazy one and you said this one crazy as hell. Okay. He'd walk around wearing a pair of tight thermal underwear. His toenails looked like claws. This big ass dumb motherfucker, girl, was with his crusty ass feet. Hold on, y'all. Now he dragging. He said, this big ass dumb motherfucker with his crusty ass feet was always talking about how he could see a little man in the ceiling. The nurse had to come back every night to give him his medication, just like old head. The only thing I missed about old head was the way we used to sit up half the night singing old songs that he didn't think I knew because of my age. Being in a cell with folks who were not normal was beginning to wear on me. One night, Vince got horny and showed me his little dick print through his raggedy ass thermals, which was disgusting. Right about then, I was really starting to miss home. I started to get more and more depressed. During some of my downtimes, I wrote letters to my mother and my brother, and I even kept a journal. I needed one in this crazy ass place. There was no peace of mind in 9 cell. I had no one to talk to. It was always noisy, and there was nowhere for me to go. I prayed that this would change soon, that I would get out, but it was no use. My birthday came, and my mother came to see me, bearing a $50 money order. I sure needed it, mostly for new underwear. I only had 3 pair, and 2 of those came from my watch trade with Icon. Being out on a visit with my mother was cool. I so wanted to go home with her. She prayed for me and gave me focus, helping me to stay strong. Of course, she told me she loved me, but that didn't carry far behind these brick walls. There was nothing I could do but sit and wait. Neither of us knew when my court date was. I brought a notepad from the commissary along with a lot of food, more oodles of noodles, as well as nachos, cheese curls, candy bars, popcorn, and juice, powdered juice. All of this was an effort to satisfy my nighttime hunger pains. Yes, self-love yourself, baby. This book, boo, ain't it good, Fato? It's y'all. I can't stop diving in it. Look at Miss Darling saying, "Roll out, roll wildin' like Dovey, ain't it, boo?" Yes. Everyone on the block seemed to be my enemy. I didn't know why, since I didn't do anything to anybody. Maybe because I was paying too much attention to Teddy, Ron, and Bone. I was with them more than with my own cellmates. I really liked Bone, even though I still had a crush on Ron. I would watch Ron while he was in his cell lying on his bed, or when he walked through the, the block in his boxers with his dick swinging back and forth. He would go around the block telling everyone that I was his bitch. I told him to stop. Then he would ask me if I wanted to go to the shower, and I tell him no, although he knew I really wanted to. What? Girl, look at you see how y'all look at all this trade he got. See, and he's not a bad looking dude. I'm looking at like his picture is on his on the back of the memoir, and he's not bad looking. But y'all see what these dudes is. Y'all, this is a mess. Okay, there was about 5 people on E Block that I thought were cute. I even thought Butter was cute, despite his nasty ass attitude. Butter was in 3 Cell. He was short, light-skinned, with a nice grade of hair, and his feet were acceptable. Some nights I would sit in my cell and look over at 3 Cell and watch him pull out his dick and take a piss. I'd been in there for about 3 weeks, and I was tired of living this life. Around this time, I was getting ready to go to court. Yes, my court date had come, and I was ready to go home. I wore Montez boots, greased my face, and waited an outtake for my name to be called. I was so looking forward to seeing my mother and being outside. I was handcuffed. As I walked outside, I sniffed the fresh air. The breeze was nice and cool as they loaded us out the prison van. My mother was at the courthouse. Boy, I was glad to see her. I was led to a room in the back where I had to consult with a bail bondsman and a public defender. I spoke to them and figured there was nothing. I spoke to them and figured there was nothing to this. I would be able to get out soon. I walked into the courtroom and sat down. The handcuffs were so tight around my wrists, I couldn't move that much. I sat there while the judge approached the bench. I could feel my mom staring at me in the back. The judge announced that my bail was dropped to $1. $1? I yelled out to my mother. I knew I could pay that. The public defender, however, made me aware that I still had the detainer, and I was going nowhere with that. The only way I was getting out of there with that $1 bail was if my probation officer would be kind enough to lift the detainer. I got up, turned around, and looked at my mother and smiled. I felt certain I'd be going home soon. They carried my they carried me straight to the back after it was over, and then the sheriff escorted me back to the prison van. I could see my mother getting in her car and driving off. God, how I wish I was in the car with her. I walked back into the prison. I felt used to the place, and I was not nearly as anxious as I used to be. I told Nard and Montez what the outcome was. They weren't surprised and didn't think I'd be getting out anytime soon. Man, if you was a girl, I'd fuck the shit out of you, Montez said one night as we listened to the rain hitting the bars on the window. Child, did you what? Sitting on the bed, I looked around the cell. Everyone was asleep. I got up and walked over to his bed and sat down beside him. Are you scared? I asked. He told me he wasn't. It's just too many people. Oh no. It's just too many people are watching. Somebody's always watching, he said. I looked down at him to see if he was hard. He wasn't. I looked down at him to. Oh, hold on, I didn't mean to read it. Then I yanked at the top of his boxers just enough to see. Hold on, what's going on here? Then I yanked at the top of his boxers just enough to feel all his pubic hairs and the top of his dick. By that time, my hormones were blazing. Then I looked up at his nappy hair and his big nose and asked if he wanted to talk. He said he just touched his what? What, y'all? Okay. He just lit up a cigarette and started puffing. I just went over to my bed, laid down, and went to sleep. When Montez lit up his cigarette, it made me think about when old head used to walk around the cell picking up old cigarette butts to smoke them. Oh, yeah, Miss Darlings, you said, Ro, take a breath, boo. Yeah, because they doing a lot. Oh, Miss Darlings, I knew you was going to be messy and say that. Not Name Nation, brother. Lord, I ain't, I'm not going to be able to do it. Boo, see, that's one thing. They are in Chicago. Okay, they over in the East Coast somewhere. I think he said he was over by Philly. Oh no, oh yeah, they in Delaware. They in Delaware. Unless he from Delaware. Y'all, this is something else though. Ain't she something else, Fato? Yeah. Miss Darlings, you have to give your devices up, baby. Whew. But I'm glad you told me to take a breather. Hold on, let me drink some water, y'all. This book is dishy. It's too much though. He done touched the boy. Everybody gay. Hold on, now. You know what? Now I ain't gonna call these men gay. They are they ain't been able to have a touch of a woman. So you know it's prison. What is going on here? Okay. Where we at? Okay, here we are. A lot of people love picking on me for no reason. I never did anything to anybody around there, but I had to keep in mind where I was. These people were not kind and loving, especially Be Real. Be Real was big and black. He resembled a whale, not a whale. Every day, he would take time just to mess with me by slapping me across the face and touching my butt, calling me sweet ass. It was horrible. It got so bad, Ron told him he would pay him off if he would just leave me alone. After a while, I began to notice that Ron was becoming quite fond of my cousin Cameron. I had a picture of her posted in my cell above my bed. Cameron was about my complexion and sort of resembled me, if not prettier, to most guys. I figured that was why he was being so extra nice to me. Sometimes I wanted to cry. I felt like a bitch of the block and everybody's punching bag. Inmates would often throw wet toilet paper rolls at me. I wanted to report Be Real to the authorities, but Ron talked me out of it. He talked to Be Real himself and told him to chill. He was cool for a couple of days until he started his shit again. Even Nate got tired of Be Real's antics. There was times I thought Be Real was either going to rape me. Oh, should I say rape me or kill me? He would lock me in my cell for hours until Ron came to my rescue. Nobody seemed like they wanted to help me. At night, I would write to my probation officer, begging and pleading with her to lift the detainer so I could go home. I explained to the probation officer that I was very sad and that I needed out. I felt threatened and abused. I never got a response from her. I always talked to my mom about it, but of course, there was nothing she could do for me. At night, I would walk around the block and make my way up to Nate's cell that was on the top tier in 12 cell. His cellmates were weird but cool, and best of all, his cell was quiet. It was a nice escape for me, away from all that noise of being downstairs and away from Nard's insensate theft stories. I always thought of Nate as being a really nice person. He had a good feeling. I had a good feeling about him. He was a bit of a recluse. Maybe he felt he had to remove himself from everyone because of his pretty looks. It felt like we were brothers. It was comfortable with him and his cellmates. They would sit back and get drunk off of wine that they made themselves. Using fruit, sugar, bread, and water, they would let it fumigate by the heater for a couple of days. They would have loved to be assigned to that cell, and that was the truth. Being around Nard had its advantages. First off, he would never let anyone into the cell to take anything, and he spoke up when he felt as though things weren't going right. This was unlike Montez, who wouldn't say a thing if someone came into our cell and took something. Montez was jealous about me and Nate hanging together. He'd get into these sudden rages, wanting to hurt me. I wasn't all that scared of him because I knew Ron would cover me. Sometimes at night, we'd lay in our beds and none of us would say a word to each other. Ooh, that's okay. One night, Nard called out my name. I looked over at him and pulled the covers back and showed me his rock hard dick through the slit of his boxer shorts. I looked at him and he had the same big ass smile on his face, just like the first time we met. I turned and continued to write my letter to the probation officer. This shit was getting out of hand. I didn't feel like I could take it anymore. I thought about killing myself. Offing. Well, I need to say all. I thought about. Hold on, y'all. Oh my goodness. I thought about illing myself, But what would happen after that? Would I ever see my mom again? Knowing how my life turned out was important to me. Would I ever get out of here? Clearly, the probation officer didn't care. What if I got killed? Oh, I'm just kidding. What if I got illed in here? As this tangle As this tangle of thoughts ran through my head, I held on to what my mother always told me, that a better day would soon come. God, I hope that would be soon. As I tried to go to sleep, I stared at the wall, thinking of when I was free. It felt like I couldn't breathe. I needed air, more air than the window of 9 cell was providing. I glanced over to the window and looked up at the stairs. I never had a wish that was so intense. Then the wish to go home. Somehow I fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up to a lot of noise. I moved to the front of my cell to look to the top of the steps. There was Teddy sitting there holding a towel to his mouth. Suddenly, someone came up to him and punched him in the back of his head. I ran back in the cell, put on my slippers, and ran up the other stair. And ran up the other steps onto the top tier. Teddy got up. Teddy then got up and started fighting back. All I could see was a gang of people jumping him. I felt so bad about not being in the position. I'm sorry, yo. I felt so bad about not being in a position to help him. Then I saw Ron and realized he was hitting Teddy. I couldn't believe it. My heart was pounding 100 miles a minute. I couldn't fight a lick, but I just had to help Teddy. Two of the people I cared about most were fighting each other. It just shocked me. Then I realized this was jail and every man here was out for himself. I got scared. What if Ron decided to turn his back on me? I felt so sorry for Teddy as I saw him walk back in his cell. I wanted to cry. Instead, I felt this overwhelming tenderness towards him, a total crush. Are you okay? I asked him. Yeah, I'm cool, he answered. From that day on, I thought the world of Teddy. All the attention I had given to Ron was transferred to Teddy. I would do anything for him. If he asked me for anything, I would give it to him. It rained all that day. Teddy did not go to dinner. He didn't come out of his cell for 2 days. Oh, y'all, this is something else right here. So the guy I think he got jumped. I hated walking through the block, hearing everyone call my name like faggot boy and gay blade. Whenever the new inmates came on the cell and found out I was gay, they would freak out. Nard was not helping. With all the animosity going on in our cell, it was decided that I should move out. I'd had enough when I was sitting on the toilet and Nard threw hot water on top of me. Oh my God. This led to a big water fight that flooded the whole cell. Turns out I was headed to Nate's cell, which made both of us happy. Of course, Montez was upset because he wanted to move in with Nate way before I did. Y'all, this chapter is going to go on and on. I'm at an hour now. I may stop on this next page, because you see this story has gathered quite a bit of different characters. Oh, this is quite a bit. Let me drink some water real quick. But yeah, Fato, it was sad. Oh, this is a lot. Okay, so we stopped at Montez was upset because he wanted to move in with Nate way before he said he did. But I thought him and Nard had a pretty good relationship, so I don't know what could have happened to make Nard throw hot water on him. Okay. My new cellmate was Chow Hall. We called him that because he loved to eat and was the ugliest person on the block. Rooster, what was that? Rooster or Ross? That's right. Roster or Bread Man, because he loved to eat bread, and Leo. Chow Hall was skinny and he looked like an alien. He was about 19 years old, and rumor was he was getting out. Oh, hold on. And rumor was he wasn't getting out anytime soon. Roster was 60 years old and made the wine all the time. He slept a lot of the time because of the medication he was on. He was a big man who loved his sweets. Leo, who was 27, was from my neighborhood and seemed cool enough. I stayed very close to Nate. We sometimes had arguments about who looked better. He always thought he looked good because of his beautiful dark skin. Because I told everyone I was getting a TV, Leo gave Leo gave me the bottom bunk. It was one of the privileges. Things felt pretty cool. We put our blankets down on the floor to make it look like we had wall-to-wall carpet, and I put my box next to my bed for a nightstand. Our cell was called the Bachelor's Pad, and I loved it. At night, Nate and I enjoyed playing cards. I'd get so hungry. I couldn't wait until Friday when we got our commissary. I needed it bad. Nachos were usually the thing I had a taste for. Despite the better accommodations, I still wanted out of there. No matter how long I begged and pleaded to my probation officer, the detainer was not lifted. Sometimes I would walk back downstairs to see Nard and Montez. We seemed to get along better when we weren't. We seemed to get along better when we weren't living with each other. My arm was hold on. My arm was still hurting from B-Reels punching me there and in my chest. Icon was in 11th cell and would sometimes come by the door and watch B-Real hit me. But luckily Nate was not having that shit. Although he told B-Real not to come in the cell, B-Real came in anyway, and I was helpless. I was always helpless. I was sure I wouldn't survive this place. Wow, y'all. So now he's getting hit by the Be Real person. Oh my God. Feto, you said that's noble. It sounds, ooh, oh my God, baby. A sleepover. He going through a lot right now. I thought he had his stuff in order, y'all, but I think that's just how it is, at times. So we're gonna get back into this book, y'all. I did get off work, so I'm glad I was able to cover at least an hour. Hey, Michelle, what's up, boo? Michelle, we done got into this read, darling. Right now, this book is the tea. Oh my God, now. Y'all, we are cutting up today. I really enjoy everybody, though. Thank y'all for coming in. I hope y'all are enjoying this prison story. Our guy, his name is Reginald Hall, and this is just his story from Delaware County Prison. Ain't it, baby? Yes, self-love yourself. You said, oh man, this damn book. Whew, y'all. I made sure that okay, I got my bookmarker, and I'm gonna put it right there for our book. So I know where we stopped at. We stopped on page 38. Yes, good night, my baby, Miss Darlings. Y'all, we'll do a little review tomorrow, but I'm telling you, these characters are just popping right in, aren't they? Oh, okay. Thank you, Michelle, baby. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Oh, baby, you said when you coming back? I should be coming back tomorrow, boo. I'm really gonna stay on this book. Oh, thanks, boo. Fato, baby. I'm glad you're loving it. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Yeah, I just gotta have a little energy. Next time I'm gonna have me a Red Bull. Boo, I'm gonna come back with a read tomorrow. Yeah. Because we're not working overtime tomorrow, y'all. That's why I was able to come so early today. Because we decided to work our overtime on Saturday. Yeah. So we're gonna have us a good old time, y'all, today and tomorrow with our book, Memoir, Delaware County Prison by Reginald L. Hall. All right, so y'all, please take care. I got some spaghetti I'm gonna be making, y'all. I'm gonna make some spaghetti. Yeah, and that's gonna be my night. So yeah, y'all, please take it easy, and I guess we'll see what's going on the streets. I did want to say though, y'all, that I felt sad about Castro's live earlier today. I did. Like his live, it just seemed like he was going through a lot. So I just hope, all goes well for Castro. I know how this stuff can kind of get you, in that heat of the moment. So hopefully he has cooled off. But yeah, Castro seemed to be really sad earlier. Self-love yourself. Boo, I need to go to the gym. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, it may just be the gym, boo. I need to go for sure. Thank you, boo, for letting me know that too. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, boo, I got to try to make that jump. It's been a minute. Yeah, so you never know, boo. It just may happen tonight. Yes, baby, you be safe as well, my feto boo. Miss Darling said Castro don't show no more pow-pows so you don't end up like this book. Facts. Yes. Miss Darling, that's facts on facts, boo. Please don't. Yeah, because you don't want to be here. You don't want to be at this where this book is at. No way, no how. Oh, okay, self-love yourself, baby. Yeah, because I need to get in there, y'all, and I think I'll feel tons better. I mean, a ton better. I appreciate you, baby. Yeah. So, y'all, I'll see y'all soon. Bye bye.